Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. It's freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer, Donald Patak. It's my contact information, standard YouTube copyright. And we're giving you the keys to having a successful week and understanding the transits for the week so you can understand what's coming for you, or what lessons you will be facing, I should say. It's been a day. Keys to the reading, because when I do this reading, if you're new to this channel, I'm going to read things differently. Many people are used to tropical astrology, and I'm reading something very different. I'm reading what is called constellational astrology or true sidereal astrology. This is astrology by the visible sky, which is the way the ancients used to read it. So I'm reverting back to the way I believe astrology was read before Ptolemy fixed the signs to seasons. God, that bug, it's been driving me nuts. Sorry. And so, been one of those days. So I'm reading the astrology by astronomy, effectively. So when you hear me say that the moon or where the sun or the moon is, and it's like, that's not what I'm aware of, that's where it actually is according to astronomers, because ancient astrologers were also astronomers. I'm also using the natural size of the constellations. All the constellations are all different sizes. Virgo is just shy of 50 degrees in the sky. Scorpio is barely 25. They're all over the place. So sky sign, the constellational sizes are going to be different. I'm using astrological midpoints. The boundaries everyone's familiar with were determined by the IAU. How? Wherever they drew a line. Athens Shementi said, hey, you know what? These boundaries are, these boundaries are drawn in putting constellations in signs that are not really theirs. So he came up with a way that came up with a midpoint boundary between constellations. I think it works better. I'm feeling fuzzy. That's okay. I read 13 signs as opposed to 12, 13, because there were 13 signs. There's 13 new moons in a year. The 13th sign, or the missing sign, is a fucus. It's the wounded healer. Symbol is of a man holding a snake. Snake in ancient times symbolized knowledge. So it's gaining knowledge so that you can use it. And it's in healing, so healing yourself and then healing others who have similar wounds. And still have the cats. And these are the weekly transits. So these are the universal lessons for everyone. So if you're having a challenging time, other people probably are too. So be careful. But these are what the universal lessons for all of humanity are. I interpret evolutionary astrology, which says these are lessons to learn, skills you can learn. So this is going to happen to you. Deal with it. The question is, how are you going to handle it? What lessons are you going to learn? What skills are you going to develop? My dates are based on the U.S. Eastern U.S. dyslexia, whatever, time zone. I'm not sure if we're daylight savings yet or not. I wish they would just put an end to that practice. And these transits are within a degree or so. They're very narrow. I'm not using I was taught how to read astrology by through the Forest Center for Evolutionary Astrology, and their weekly transit, one of their transits they say to use, or the orb they use for transits, really wide. I'm using the default for my astrology program, which is Capricorn by Prometheus, and those orbs are much narrower, and it makes things a lot easier to work with and focus. Let me pull this up. So these are the weekly transits for September 30th through October 6th, 2024. The sun is still in Virgo. So it's about self-improvement, learning to become better. The moon is in Leo, will work through Virgo most of the week and then through Libra and end up on Sunday, later Sunday in Scorpio. We do have a new moon on, I believe it's Tuesday, and this is an annular eclipse. It's a new moon. It's an annular eclipse in Virgo, and that makes it, what makes it that is the conjunction to the south node in Virgo. Both the sun and moon will be conjunct, so this will be a special event. Active this week, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, the three inner social planets. They will be active, and they'll be aspecting the nodes of the moon and Saturn, and there's some other planets, but those are the big movers this week. We have a sign change. Venus enters Libra, where she is the ruler. So we will see that towards the end of the week. We have what I'm calling a power transit. And these are a transit that just takes a very long time, and we'll be dealing with the energies for a long time. Most of the transits that I talk about last 2 to 3 days, sometimes up to 6. This transit is going to go through mid-November. So that's why I call it a power transit. And then finally, we have a laundry list of retrograde planets here. We have Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron, all retrograde. This is more of a time of reflection for your maturity, individuality, spirituality. Pluto is how you're transforming and changing. Chiron is healing. So let us begin. Let me pull this down here now. And this is our week in an overview, and I forgot to put the moons in. I knew there was something I missed. Oh, well. We begin Monday with the moon in Leo. And as you can see, Monday, Tuesday, we do have some clusters. I'll go draw it in here. So we do begin, we do begin with the moon in Leo. And you can see we have this time of endings, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, we have the eclipse. Thursday, we begin another phase, like a new phase. So you can see these divisions. Tuesday is when the moon moves into Virgo. I do know that. I believe, just jump in really quick here. Later Thursday, also the moon enters Libra. So I'll put the moon here just to symbolize, and with an arrow showing that it's entering Libra. Also, that's the day that Venus enters Libra. So we get both of them entering Libra. Your ability to have relationships and be creative. Just realized my Libra head there is a little bit off. Oh, bad. Oh well. And also the moon, you're emotional. So this might be a time of fuzziness. You might feel a little emotionally off. Relationships might be a little fuzzy. That's okay. Hey. I have 3 kittens fighting. Don't like it. And then on Sunday, we do have the moon entering Virgo. Or not Virgo, I'm sorry, Scorpio. So emotional intensity. Yeah, great. We need emotionally intense people on a day when the NFL is playing. Wednesday, we do have that new moon eclipse that I was talking about. So Wednesday is kind of the pivot point day of the week. Things end Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, powerful day of transformation. Then we enter the next phase Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So let me clear those out. Close that out. Boom. So, and I'm going to pick up some transits and where we're beginning from last week. So we do start the week with the moon in Leo. So emotionally, you're looking to express yourself and share and release what is blocking you from expressing yourself. Learn to get over it. Accept the spotlight when it is available and be able to share who you are and be appreciated for your talents, gifts, and abilities. So this is a time for you to learn how to release. This is in the waning section of the moon's transit. So it's about learning to release those things that stop you from sharing and to be able to accept what helps you to share. Be careful of playing to the crowd, settling for style over substance. You know, people want to belong and they'll pay any price to belong. Not worth it. Also, be careful of avoiding the spotlight altogether. There are people who just don't want to be seen. Well, you kind of have to, in a way. If you're not seen, you know, there are times where not being seen means you can't succeed. Or it makes success much more difficult to receive or be a part of. So do pay attention to that. This is that long transit, Jupiter sextile Chiron. Jupiter is gonna go station direct and retrograde during this. So that's why we have these 2 funny dates there, because we're going to get retrogrades and station direct. Jupiter is gonna retrograde, Chiron's gonna be going forward. So it's gonna be an interesting time. But you know, Jupiter in Taurus, opportunity to find stability. Chiron in Pisces, reflecting on your healing, reflecting on spirituality, also healing spiritual healing. And this is a sextile, so it's kind of an excitement and an interest in learning that and by doing this doing this inner healing and being able to release these wounds, you can have the opportunity to find stability in your life. It can be very powerful. So reflecting opportunity for inner peace. Be open to deep healing work as well for the opportunities there. Doing spiritual work in time stones can be very good, and it's possible to release wounds and recover your strength. Avoid falling into over or underconfidence here, thinking more of yourself than you should, or thinking less of yourself. Also, be careful of falling into fantasy, thinking that you don't have any wounds to heal. So doing that, and it can lead to, that over under confidence can lead to that. If you're thinking you're doing better, or maybe not doing as good as you think you are. So, and from Saturday, we have Mars in Gemini trining Saturn. So Mars having the courage to learn and reflect. Is what you're learning authentic to you? Are you learning what's interesting to you? And how is what you're learning helping you to become more of who you really are? So defend your right and ability to be who you are and to be working on that purpose. Challenges to your identity and integrity may arise. Face or reflect the lessons. Face the challenges, reflect on the lessons that you're learning. Now, the shadow of this, a person can become very angry. We have words as weapons. Saturn in Aquarius, or they can be total cowards and not learn and come across as the wimp. And Saturn in Aquarius can be that rebel without a cause or a clue, or it can be the total sellout and giving in. So it is very possible for people to bully you into submission, into being someone that you're not. Or you can act out so much and be verbally abusive with people. Trines are easy energy, so a little bit goes a long way. So pay attention how you're working with this. So in that shadow, be careful of becoming argumentative or caving in. Both choices will lead to defeat. Learn to be assertive in what you want and work on it so that it becomes more of line with who you are. And from Sunday, and I still have to write this blog out, Mercury in Virgo is in opposition to the North Node. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff circled there. It's just kind of hard to, because all that stuff is piled up together because we have a mega conjunction there. But we have Mercury in Virgo in opposition to the North Node in Pisces. And oppositions are a time for reflection and a time of balancing. Mercury in Virgo wants to get better and learn to be better and learn, improve itself. Whereas North Node in Pisces is saying be present. So if you're balancing those two, you're able to get an honest assessment of where you really are and what you really need to learn and what's really good for you to learn. You're learning to be present and in the moment, and that's where life actually gives you the greatest lessons. So learn to reflect on life's purpose, the work that you've been putting into it. Pay attention and insights you receive. Remember to record them. Journal's always a good thing. Look to people who've succeeded in life. Inspiration and ideas can help you achieve. Meditate on these lessons. So, and it is balancing. Mercury certainly is active, but Pisces is more passive and receptive. So it's knowing when to act and when not to act, and when to pay attention, when to be actively learning and when to be listening. That wonderful Ecclesiastes 3 routine. Now, the shadow here is we have Mercury being a know-it-all or can't learn, and Virgo can be a perfectionist, pushing you to unrealistic expectations. And the Mercury know-it-all thinks they're already there, and the Mercury shadow thinks they'll never be able to improve. And the North Node in Pisces can just deny everything and ignore this time and help you to ignore it. So it can wind up, this tug of war this tug of war can have you trying to just escape the situation altogether, or you can be ignoring that ability to stay still and just be driving yourself and constantly driving yourself. So be careful to blinding yourself with idealistic notions or fantastic notions that serve no practical purpose, or thinking that all this work you're going to do is going to amount to something. Be careful, because if you're focused on the wrong lessons. And Mercury conjunct the South Node. Mercury is how you learn and communicate. South Node is how you hold yourself back in life. So when Mercury is conjunct this south node, you're able to see how you hold yourself down and how you hold yourself back. Is there anything else I want to attach to that? Yeah, these are old patterns that you're getting ready to leave behind and lose. So learn how you hold yourself back from achieving your purpose in life at this time. How you self-sabotage. Listen to others that are struggling. Listen to others who have overcome similar patterns. See what you can learn from them. What sights can you get from them? Be very powerful there. The shadow, Mercury, like I said, can be a know-it-all. They can talk your ears off and use words as a way of protecting themselves against either learning because they either know it all or they think they can't learn. And the South Node will keep you repeating those old wounds. And Virgo with those unrealistic expectations, which leads to pessimism and self-criticism and negativity. I mean, this is just a combination. This is just a recipe for disaster. And we're going to add a conjunction to the sun here, which is make it even worse. So be careful about endless and mindless chatter, mental or verbal. Both are distracting you and defenses against learning and growing and fulfilling your lessons at this time. And Sun will be conjunct Mercury as well. So we have a conjunction here. Actually, Mercury more conjunct the Sun, but nonetheless. Mercury actually here is the faster traveler. And the Sun is your core identity. It's who you are at heart. And you came here to, the South, it's conjunct the South node. So it's being made aware of old patterns. And with Mercury there as well, it is just highlighting these patterns at a higher level and becoming more aware of how you hold yourself back and how you hold yourself back from learning, how you hold yourself back in communication. With these unrealistic expectations, how you get bitter, pessimistic, and negative, and what those behaviors are. And all that is being brought to the forefront, and you're being made aware of it. And the shadow of this is just to be living in denial and just repeating those same mistakes over and over again. Einstein said the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing, but thinking you're going to get different results. Well, it's very possible. So learn to reflect and think about how are you speaking up for yourself and are you improving in those skills and what do you say about yourself in public. Look to see how words can be a mirror for your life and the lives of others around you. Look at what they say and look at what they do. I think Virgo is definitely a doing sign, planning things at least. So pay attention to people who are good at communication and learning. Look in different formats as well. And like I said, be careful of making your opinion equal with truth or reality about who you are and what you can do in life and where you are in life. Be careful of that. Endless chatter, not sharing or not sharing what you do know can be a defense against you and others learning about, first of all, who you are and more about life. It can also serve as a distraction. So words here can be a major distraction against achievement. And so Monday, we begin Monday with the need to take a breath. And the universe is giving us one. Those transits from the weekend are finishing out and releasing. Tuesday, the moon enters Virgo. Moon is your emotional self. Some people also say it's your soul. But that is entering Virgo, and the aim of Virgo is to become better. Become a better version of yourself. So be open. We're in the waning section. So being able to release emotionally the things that hold you back from becoming a better version of yourself. So releasing that is great. So be open to opportunities for improvement. Let go of what's holding you back. No longer serves you. If it's not helping you become better, it's keeping you trapped in a past that may not be serving you anymore. Be able to let go of that. Be careful of that bitter pessimism, fussy negativity, unrealistic expectations, and as they can hold you down and back, and that they can be very powerful forms of self-sabotage. And on Wednesday, I'm gonna pop this up here. We have the new moon in Virgo, and this will be an annular eclipse. We're not likely to see this. From what I understand in the diggings that I did, we will not be able to see this in North America. The path of this actually, if you want to watch it, the best place to watch it is Easter Island, and I think Ecuador has governance over them, and I think they're limiting who can get on that island because it is so small. But this will be more visible in the southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere. But what makes this the new moon is the sun and the moon conjunct. What makes it the eclipse is how close it is to the south node or in the north node. In this case, it's the south node. It's 4 degrees off. So this will be an annular eclipse. What that means, it's also known as a ring of fire eclipse. That means the moon is farther away from the earth. So you have the sun, you have the moon, and then you have the earth. And the moon when this is at its when it's exact, the moon will look like it has a ring of fire around it. That's why it's called the annular eclipse. It's also known as the ring of fire, and that's why. And that is pure UV rays. So never look at an annular eclipse without proper protection. Nobody's going to be able to see it really, so I'm not going to lecture on that. But is that Thursday? Previous. So yeah, here we go. So this is Wednesday. So you have the eclipse. So you've got the sun, you've got the moon conjunct Mercury. So you're learning about, how are you learning? How are you speaking? How do you feel about that? How is that affecting your identity? How are you? And with the south node there, that's you holding yourself back with these unrealistic expectations. And what you on your self-talk and your self-perception. Think of it's retrograde. So this is going to be more, south node is retrograde at this point in time, so it's more internal. So, but what are you learning right now about how you hold yourself back in learning communication? How's that affecting you emotionally? How's that affecting your identity and who you are and your ego? And you came here to learn how to have a healthy ego. So pay attention and focus what you think and believe about yourself, your core identity, and your soul. It's possible to see how you're holding yourself back from growth and outdated patterns. Reflect on how being present in the moment can be liberating. So if you see how you're holding yourself back in these areas and you say, wait a minute, if I'm just present, that can help me. That's that reflection. That's the North Node in Pisces. Learning to be present can help really heighten your awareness of. This is balancing the two. Being present, seeing how you hold yourself back, allow, and it provides the opportunity for great healing. Otherwise, this leads to great wounding, where your self-talk is very damaging to your soul and your emotions, and you keep repeating these worn-out patterns, and you do something to numb the pain or try to escape or deny what's going on. Denying reality and escaping pain, definitely something that is done using Piscean influences. So do be careful of that. Refusing to follow these patterns will result in bitterness, cycle of downward thinking about yourself and your beliefs, also result in attempts to escape through fantasy and other methods. And this is just keeping you trapped in a maze of the past and in old thinking, old patterns of thinking, old patterns of learning, old thought patterns. It's a recipe for disaster. Here we go. Thursday. Venus enters Libra, and Venus is the natural ruler and the ancient ruler of Libra, which does kind of make sense. Venus being about relationships and creativity. And if there's two things that get a little, out of balance sometimes or don't always make sense, I think is the better way to make sense to understand Libra. Libra can be very ambiguous, and relationships don't always make sense. How can you two be friends? We're just friends and we get along. That's fine. Art is what it is, So Venus, it's about that. It's also about learning how to work with other people, building relationships, building your creativity. So it's time for, I do have here written down, time for a little bit of TLC for yourself. Take time to take care of yourself. Do take time to take care of your relationships. Be open to others. Make new connections as well. Accept help if needed. And remember to ask for it too. learn to let people to be themselves. You know, you need to learn to be yourself in your relationships, and you need to accept people. It's always good to accept people as they are. Relationships and creativity don't always have to make sense. You know, where do people get inspired from art? The craziest of places, but it works. The shadow, Venus, can be very slick and manipulative, or turn people and or you know like turn people away from a relationship and douse its creativity and deny its creativity. And Libra can be, I'd say, scatterbrained, but indecisive, I think, is the better term here, and can refuse to make up its mind and be indecisive, or just give away its power and let other people make up its mind for it. So be careful of that. How are you giving away your power in your relationships? How are you surrendering to the influences of others for creativity instead of learning to tap into your own inspiration? So in the shadow, being manipulative or manipulated and indecisive can lead to bad relationships and you being on the wrong path. Giving your power away to others can lead you to a life of being manipulated and you get nothing out of it. And at this time, Venus will be, pull this down, trying to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, which is going to be interesting because here you are in this, sort of, I'm going to pull this out of the way. It's distracting me. So here you have Venus in Libra where it's relationships don't make sense, but Saturn in Aquarius is asking you to learn to be your authentic self. So are you being your authentic self in your relationships? What's holding you back from doing that? This is a time to release it and let it go. Reflect on whether you're being yourself in relationships and creativity. Ask yourself if you are enjoying the experiences. Because if you're being authentic, it will bring you inner joy. So do pay attention to that. Look to others that you see as being themselves or real for ideas on how to grow. And everybody's paths will be different, but sometimes hearing what experiences other people have had can help you to grow. Learn that becoming who you really are can be unpredictable process, but still you can do the work and you can grow. The only way to do it is to learn to be yourself. So it's unpredictable, and that unpredictability creates a little chaos. But in all that chaos, you learn to be who you really are. The shadow is being indecisive and giving your power away. Saturn in Aquarius can be the rebel without a cause or a clue and just being immature about it and taking it up a notch, or it can be the complete total sellout and giving away to others. So if you're giving your power away, you could be joining this group of eccentric people who just do stuff to get reactions, or you could be Mr. Smith in the Matrix. So be careful of indecision, losing your identity to fit in, or acting out wildly to prove a point or prove something. Also, watch out for meaningless relationships that could be holding you back. If you're in a relationship that doesn't allow you to be who you really are, maybe it's time to let it go. Peacefully and nicely. Friday, take a breath. Remember to exhale. Yeah, I actually did. I should have saved the email. I didn't. It's like, how long? And I know that they were joking, and it's an inside joke between us. But they said, how long am I supposed? You said, take a breath. How long am I supposed to hold my breath for? So do take a time to breathe. Friday, nice quiet day. Saturday, Mercury in Virgo squares Mars in Gemini. Interesting, because Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini. I like in Gemini to be learning information, trivial pursuit, how to pass, the information you need to pass a test, versus Virgo is the practical application of that information. So the challenge is having the courage to learn what you need, learning what you need so that you can grow. There's learning things because people want you to know them, and then learning things that are going to help you grow and become who you really are. And that's the challenge here, is to learn the things that help you become who you really are, I think. And and help you with the skills that you came here to learn. I have way too many notices open here. So Mercury wants to learn to be better. Mars is having courage and assertiveness to do what? Learn and communicate. So this is learning to get better at learning and communication. So have the courage to learn what you're curious about, especially helps you become a better in learning and communication and better at being better skilled as well. Pay attention to situations around you for ideas that can help you figure out what it is you need to learn or what would be good to learn. People who challenge you to improve can also be seen as supports. Squares are challenges that are designed to strengthen you. I will keep saying that squares can be very good. If you look at the pyramids, I'll say this every time almost. Pyramids, they look like triangles. Oh, it's a triangle, it's strong. But when you get up, it's built on 90-degree angles. And it's that 90-degree angle that gives it its real strength. If you were to break one of those 90-degree angles, those pyramids would collapse. It would be a full-out collapse, but it would come down much quicker than it is. The shadow here, Mercury, thinking that Virgo, it's already perfect, or thinking that it's impossible to learn and it's never going to be good enough, so why bother? Mars falls into fear, and that can come across as anger or cowardice, and And in Gemini, learning it can be scatterbrained, can be the know-it-all. Why are people doubting my knowledge and my skills? Or I'm never going to be able to learn this. Why should I bother trying? So be careful of that. So falling into a war of words, thinking that you know it all, or holds you down and back, thinking you can't learn it all, and finding ways to defend the idea only leads to deeper failures. So do be careful of that. There we go. Saturday, the moon enters Libra. I tell you, I need more coffee, but this is late Sunday night, and I do want to get this done. So, and it will be conjunct Venus, or your soul, and your relationships. You might get close to somebody. That's nice. But this is your emotional self in Libra. So right now, your feelings might be a little up in the air and not make any sense, but that's okay. They'll even out. Just let the situations, Libra looks like scales, and when you put weights on one end of the scale, weights on the other end, something on the other end, and you're trying to weigh it, it does this. Things get a little uneven. That's okay. Learn to ride that and work with it. Reorient yourself to gain perspective on what your path is. Situations may not make sense. They don't need to. Learn to live with that ambiguity can be good. Shadow, the moon can be emotional. And be careful of being indecisive, letting others make decisions for you, giving away that power, giving people power over you. That goes nowhere fast. And being so indecisive here that you can't make a decision, bad thing. Ideally, Libra can come to a reasoned decision, but not allowing yourself to, for whatever reason, is a path towards failure. And Sunday, we have Venus in Libra trining Mars in Gemini. So Venus in Libra, like I said, that's about relationships. Relationships don't make sense, but this is having the courage to speak up. Mars in Gemini, courage to learn, courage to speak up in these relationships. And speaking up for yourself. And, let's see, what else do I have? Learn to have the courage to take care of yourself and your relationships. Ask questions and let the answers be ambiguous for yourself and for other people. Hard conversations can lead to learning and growth. Gaining different perspectives. Gain different perspectives and let things be unclear. You're getting new information, and it's like taking a puzzle. A puzzle, you open up the box, you take the pieces and you dump them out, and you've got them all on the table, and you've got them all face up and down, and you're sorting through them. That's this situation. You're learning to put those pieces together, sort through the pieces, and put things together so it does sort of make sense. So you're learning to see what it is, and what it is you need to do and be better in your relationships, and how you can communicate better in relationships. So as you get those pieces together, good job. Let's see, what do I have here? Learn to take care of yourself, take care of relationships, ask questions, let the answers be ambiguous. Hard conversations can lead to learning and growth and relationship as well, and creativity. Gain different perspectives, let things be unclear. People that open your mind to different ideas can be a blessing, especially if they know their stuff. So, paying attention to people who actually are good at what they do. These people can be good teachers for you. Have the courage to ask them questions and learn. And then they may not know exactly how to help you apply their knowledge to your situation, but listening to them, trying to figure out how to apply it can help you. And also on Sunday, the moon enters Scorpio. This can be emotionally intense. Now, this is going to happen late Sunday night. So late Sunday night Eastern time zone. So as we go west from the Eastern time zone, you'll experience this earlier. So that's why I have it in here. But be prepared to face deep truths in your life. And these are going to be deep emotional truths. Life can get a little intense, face it. Be careful of falling into a rotten mood. Moon in Scorpio, excuse me, the moon in Scorpio can be a rotten mood and fast. So be careful of that because it can turn people off and away. So there we go. So set this aside. So do follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I do have 2 different stations because for some reason my one station got hidden and I couldn't find it. So there are 2 stations that I have. Follow me on both. If I can't get it posted on one, it'll always be on the other. I do have that. Digital Soul Space is a troll-free zone that your data is protected. And it's really interesting, the different things that they have on there. It's not just astrology, it's crystals, tarot, oracle cards, different spiritual traditions. It's really incredible. And I forgot to pull up the site, so hold on a second. Sorry about that. It's been a day. The website. And if something's not working on the website, or if you've got a question, please do email me. Here is my website. I've got my ADA thing fixed up. It wasn't working. And the different keys that I offer, we're giving you the keys to freedom, understanding your birth chart, karmic or a past life reading. Quick Pick combines those 2 keys, those 2 things. So understanding who you are and where you came from, the lessons that you came here to learn, very powerful. Tuxedo and parkour. Stop it. Getting near the new moon and the kittens are fighting again. Second set of keys is the horoscopes. These are the different transits. I do offer what I call life cycle, where we're looking at the outer planets and where they are in relation to their natal chart. It does tell us a lot of good information. Yearly horoscope, which is, the big picture elements of the outer planets and major lessons. And then I break it down to 3 months, and then I do in 1 month. For the monthly, I like to go new moon to new moon. I think that works out the best. And then I do have packages that combine these readings. And any package that you buy has a 10% discount figured in. Click on scheduling. All my readings I do is recordings. I share the recording with you, and then we sit down and we get together for that time. That's your opportunity to ask questions, to seek clarification and greater understanding, rather than listening to me for that hour rant and rave and talk to you and do all the talking. This is your chance to learn more about what really interests you, what you're really curious about in your chart, or maybe something that I didn't read that you're interested in. So there's that. And let's go back here. Let's go back here. Here, slideshow, current slide. So do follow Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Digital Soul Space is free. They do ask donations periodically. You're free to give, and if you don't, hey, no problem. These 3 sites here, also LinkedIn and some other social media, are making millions of dollars off of your data and not giving you a penny. Mighty Networks does Digital Soul Space, and your data is protected. There we go. So thank you. Like, follow, share. Sign up for the newsletter. I forgot to talk about that, but I do have a weekly newsletter. When you go to the website, if you click on that, you get the newsletter. I do have a blog where I blog on the different transits and share more information. But like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. Remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Have a good week.